Good morning. My name is Manuel Osvaldo Jacquez. Here to reach out to the community and leave a statement about my father, who unfortunately we lost on Christmas Day. Good morning. Manuel Osvaldo Jacquez-Machado, a husband, a father, a brother, a friend, and to many, the joy of the party. My dad, during his time working downtown, was a man that grew fond of feeding the homeless. He worked down there every day of his life. Recently, my dad just retired, and after his retirement, my dad was able to My dad was able to really focus on a lot of his passions, which was art, photography. He had a garden. There was many things that he loved to do. Oz left behind a wife, my sister, and I, plus 2 in-laws and 6 grandchildren. Oz loved his grandchildren. They challenged him every day of his life. One day ago, my father was taken from us. 1 month, 2 days ago, on Christmas night, he was brutally attacked at Thirsty's bar in Thornton. With such a tragic loss, we as a family are suffering tremendously. Tremendously. Oz was a 69-year-old cancer survivor, and he also lived with rheumatoid arthritis for 35 years of his life. Oz came to the United States in 1972, and he became a hard-working citizen. He was out there doing his deed as an American citizen. Through all the struggles that he faced, he always found a way to provide for his family. Whether it be working at a parking lot, whether it be working at a restaurant, whatever it was, he found a way. As I feel so hopeless, I continue to think that this guy took my mother's husband of 48 years with 0 remorse. We all knew my father's body was shutting down so much that he was not a threat to anybody. Having rheumatoid arthritis, my dad was barely even able to walk. This is why we are asking for your help. And the community has come together, but I'm asking again, can we please come together and try to give us some closure and justice for what has happened to my father? If you know anything, please do me a favor and come forward. Send tips to the Crime Stoppers, or you can even contact Thornton Police Department. Also, a real quick statement to the man that did this. If you are watching, I promise you we forgive you. Life is about forgiveness, and we understand. But do the right thing. Come forward. We know it was something that happened. We know it was tragic. And we know there's no turning back now. But once again, from the bottom of our heart, we still forgive you for what had happened. Thank you for your time.
Hello, everybody. I wanted to say thank you for being here. Thank you for your interest and coverage in this story. I want to say how troubling this case is for the Thornton PD. Osvaldo senselessly lost his life. What started as a minor accident in a parking lot escalated into an assault and eventually a homicide that took his life. And it's left his family, his loved ones, and our community devastated. Information is still limited on the case as far as what we know, but I'd like to invite Detective Kevin Gifford up here to just answer a couple questions and or maybe give a case summary just to let you know what we know now. Kevin?
Hi there. My name is Detective Kevin Gifford with the Thornton Police Department. I was assigned this case on Christmas Day when this happened. I'll give you a quick summary of what we have so far. Also, we'll go over what the suspect's description is and the vehicle description. And then if there's any questions, feel free to ask. On December 25th, 9:45 p.m., we see the suspect's vehicle pulling into the Thirsty's parking lot at 1294 East 104th Avenue. The vehicle parks behind Osvaldo's car. The suspect never gets out, stays in his car the whole time, never enters the bar. Osvaldo finishes his game of pool. He was an avid pool player, enjoyed playing pool. So he finished his game of pool and exited the bar at 9:52 p.m. Goes, gets in his car, starts his car up, and for whatever reason, he rolls back a little bit, and there's a small minor collision where he rolls into the suspect's vehicle. The suspect then gets out of his car, goes up, and starts yelling at Osvaldo, screaming at him. We believe that he even started hitting his car a couple times. Osvaldo, like we said, this is a cancer survivor, has rheumatoid arthritis, doesn't get around very well, has a very hard time walking, gets out of his car, and is seen walking back toward the suspect. Guessing he was just going to be talking to him. He was not doing this in an aggressive manner. He was never raising his voice, anything like that. At that time, the suspect assaults Osvaldo. We know of at least one punch and one kick, and left Osvaldo lying in the parking lot unconscious as he pulled out of the parking lot at 9:54 p.m. and headed eastbound on 104th. What we do know about the suspect is that this is a white male, probably 5 foot to 5'8", with reddish blonde hair. The hair is just a little past the shoulders, and he's a thin male. He also has a reddish blonde beard, medium length. He was driving what we believe to be either a 2014 to 2018 Jeep Cherokee or a 2017 to 2021 Jeep Compass. This vehicle is red in color. It's been described to us as the firecracker red. It's kind of the brighter red. And it has the, I believe it's the Trailhawk edition that has the black decal on the hood. It's kind of a vinyl wrap just in the center of the hood. The vehicle also appears to have what looks like either a large rack or a rooftop tent on top of it. If there's any information that anybody has out there, please reach out to us or reach out to Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers number is 720-913-7867. I know somebody has to know something out there. Please reach out to us and give us this information. Even if it doesn't seem like it's important, let us know. We're looking into every one of these tips, and we're taking every one of these tips seriously.
When you say we see or this was seen, is that surveillance you guys have obtained, or is this on witness accounts?
So we have surveillance footage from the parking lot of the bar, and then we also have one witness that was pretty close by that was able to see a lot of this.
As we try to raise awareness around this, is this surveillance footage we could expect to receive today?
So the surveillance footage is available. You'll have to go through whatever lines getting through records and all that, but no, it has been released and it is available.
Can you take us through the flow of tips you've had in this case? I mean, is there a lot of information out there, not a lot of information?
Believe it or not, there is a lot of red Jeep Cherokees out there. So we have gotten a lot of tips through Crime Stoppers, also through just reaching out to the police department. So we have been, we do have a lot of detectives right now that are working on this. So yeah, each one of these tips, we're going out and we're contacting, we're at least checking out the vehicle, checking out who is the registered owner of these vehicles, all that. So yes, everyone is being followed up on.
Surveillance video clear enough to get you like a license plate or anything?
No, unfortunately, with the lighting in the parking lot, it's dark out, 10 o'clock at night almost. It's not the best surveillance footage. It gives us enough to where we're able to see enough to where we can say that the witness is giving us the correct info on what we believe the vehicle is.
Detective, can you even tell if it's a Colorado plate?
I was told that it is a Colorado plate. That he did believe it was a Colorado plate. We don't have a plate number for it though.
I think when this first happened, we had just like very preliminary information. I didn't know that this guy was not a patron at the bar. He said he didn't even get out of his car until this incident occurred.
Right.
Is there any indication or reason to believe that this was not a random attack, or is this?
I can't answer anything on that right now. We don't know. I don't believe that this was a random attack. I believe that this happened because the minor collision. I don't think that Manuel was being targeted. Everybody at the bar that night loved Manuel. They were having a good time with him. He didn't have any issues with anybody. So there's no reason to believe that he was being targeted on this.
Would the damage to the car be visible? I mean, is it, you say minor collision?
I can say that there's such little damage on Manuel's car that I don't think there'll be a whole lot of damage on the other vehicle.
Were there any leads from people inside the bar that may have known the suspect? Was he a regular there? Do we know? I know he didn't even make it inside, but
Everybody that we have talked to, nobody knows who this person is. We went through video footage of the bar. The bar's been extremely cooperative with us as far as getting us this footage. They came out that night and we started going through the footage that night. We've also gone back and looked through the day prior and from the time that Manuel had gotten to the bar, and to see if there was anybody that matched the suspect's description, and we didn't see anybody, and nobody really remembers anybody like that in the bar.
Can you talk about your mindset as an investigator in a case like this? I mean, it's got to be pretty frustrating to just not have a lead on it.
We have enough leads coming in. It's been keeping me busy, luckily. But like I said, the community's been great about going out there, and anytime they're seeing, even if it's not falling within that year, make, or model, they're still, if they're seeing anybody that has longer hair that's red or blonde, we're getting these tips. So there's been plenty of leads to go off of. None of them have come to fruition yet, but all that matters to me right now is justice for Osvaldo and his family. Like we said, this is a 70-year-old man that could barely walk. He's a cancer survivor. He's been through a lot in his life. And knowing the pain that the family's going through, yeah, that's unacceptable. And we're here to do whatever we can to help them out. I've been meeting with the family on a weekly basis usually, and we've been in constant phone contact.
And how tragic is it that something so minor just escalated that much?
It's horrible. It's beyond belief. Like I said, this isn't just an everyday person. This is a coward that we're talking about. I mean, this coward killed a 70-year-old man that couldn't have hurt him if he wanted to.
Javier, could we ask you a couple questions? Would you feel open to that? One of the things I'm curious about, I hear you say your family's forgiving this man. I find that just as someone who has not experienced the loss, hard to understand. Can you take us through the thought process behind that?
We have so much darkness in this world right now that even through tragic times, love will prevail. Regardless of what we say, what we do, it's already happened, right? There's no turning back from that. So me, even this last week when we had the funeral services for my father, that's the one thing that I pushed. I don't want people to be angry. Yes, it was a senseless act. Yes, it was my father. But as far as moving forward, in order for us as a family to get through the grieving process, we can't sit with anger in our heart. That's not the right thing. It's not. So that's why I say it's okay to forgive. Even if you did take my dad away from me, it's okay to forgive, because love will prevail. And what I mean by that too is, if someone does know that gentleman, that's what's going to push you to say, you know what, I got to turn him in. The right thing has to be done, right? It's a hard thing to go through, to say that and accept it. But I know for a fact that if I allow myself to forgive this gentleman for the senseless act that he did, we can get some resolution, we can get some closure, we can get some great things behind it as well.
Javier, first of all, my condolences for you and your family, and
Thank you.
thanks for being so courageous to speaking with us today. My question is, from my understanding, your father was taken to a hospital where he later passed away from his injuries. Did you and the family get a chance to share any last words with him before he passed?
So unfortunately, no. We were able to share words with him, but as far as consciously, no. The impact and the brain bleeding that my father got from this, he was not responsive. They had him on life support from the morning that my mom called me to go and pick her up to go there. We weren't able to have any kind of conscious conversation with him. Hopefully he heard us, being the way that he was, but we didn't get to have.
Were you guys pretty much aware that this is probably something he's not going to come back from? If you don't mind just sharing kind of some of the things you guys were talking, telling him.
So my mother and she still is pretty distraught by this. We had many conversations with him, telling him that we love him. We tried to have faith, right? We tried going through the process and saying he's going to pull out of this. He's going to pull out of this. But as we were going through the process, he was continuously going into cardiac arrest, either way that the doctors were going. Whether they would try to work on his heart or whether they would try to work on his brain, one would counteract the other, and so then that's when he would go back into cardiac arrest. So it was a pretty hard-fought battle. I know that when I talked with him, going back to the conversation of forgiveness, my father and I have had our little mishaps and stuff like that too. So at that moment in time, even if he's not conscious, you sit there and you tell him that you forgive him and that you love him. I know that my sister had an extensive conversation with him as well. And I hope that he did hear us. I hope, before he passed. Before we had to make the decision, we've done what we can, and now it's time to let him go. I hope that he heard our conversations.
Do you feel like enough is being done by the Thornton Police Department or even the community to help find the suspect? Do you feel like there needs to be more onboarding for people to kind of come together and really try to nail this down?
From the bottom of my heart, honestly, the community has come together greatly. And I hope that this helps them push it again, because they have. Family members, community members, people that we don't even know have been contacting us, sending us condolences, that kind of stuff. Mr. Walker and also Detective Gifford, they're on point. They're doing their job. I think one of the hardest things to go through is being patient and allowing them to do their job, because we want the guy caught. But we have to learn to get that patience within us as a family to allow Detective Gifford to do his job, because he is doing his job and he's doing it greatly.
Can you talk about, I know grief is hard enough when you lose someone suddenly, but what that process has been like, not knowing?
That's the toughest part. That is what is going to allow us to have closure. And to be, for a month now, on high alert, it's stressful and it's exhausting. Just because regardless of what we do during the day, you're constantly trying to look. Is that the Jeep? Is that the guy? Just even the other day, me and my wife were walking through the store and we see a gentleman that has a description of what we have. Right away, we're in an alert mode and trying to say, is that him? Is that him? Do we call? What do we do? What do we, And when you have that constant alertness, that's what creates a lot of the stress and exhaustion, because it doesn't stop. It don't stop. When we're at home, it's a constant conversation. It's a constant thing that we're battling. Is this person knowing him? Is this person knowing him? Somebody has to know him. There's so many questions and variables, but when you don't have the answers, it's exhausting.
Sounds like he was a regular there. Seems like he was known to people there, well liked.
Oz was known everywhere. To say that he was a regular there, I can't say that. You know what I mean? He would go around and play pool at places, and he would want to be around people, and that's what Oz loved to do. It wasn't necessarily a drinking thing. It was more so he liked being around people. And knowing that trait, because I have that same trait, that's what we want to be around. We want to be happy. We want to be around people that we can make happy, right? And so he had a lot of love in his heart. Even through all the stuff that he went through, he had a lot of love in his heart.
Was he a good pool player?
Yeah. Unfortunately, unfortunately, one thing that he was getting angry with is that the rheumatoid arthritis was so bad, he couldn't play. He tried to play, but his hands wouldn't let him. And so anytime that he did do it, he played through the pain.
You said people knew him everywhere. You said he worked downtown. Where do you work?
He was a parking lot attendant downtown, off of 15th. He worked there for many years. My mom even told me last night that is one of the things that he loved to do, is that he would go and get canned food, and he would look for sales with canned food, and he would go buy a ton of canned food, and he would go and take it down to the homeless people downtown. Working downtown, he dealt with a lot. The homeless population down there, and so a lot of them knew him because he was down there every day for work, right? And so as they're communicating with him, he wanted to help. He wanted to help.